Speaking of May Emperor, Xianxia thought of Feng Yujie in Divine Feather School. Do you know Feng Yujie? She is very mysterious, and even more powerful than the May Emperor. Xianxia said. Oh, you know Feng Yujie too. Qi Shi was a little surprised. He could not think of how Xianxia got to know him. In his impression, Feng Yujie should not have known about it casually, and had even revealed so many secrets of his. She's a pill saint. I entrusted her to help me concoct the sacred pill, so we got to know each other from then on. Xianxia curled his lips. This woman is very mischievous. Great Lion. This means that you know her. Long Shui asked. We met her when we were traveling here a long time ago. She was indeed a very powerful woman, and she was very temperamental and unpredictable, and felt that she was deliberately concealing her true nature, not wanting others to see through her. At that time, she was already a pill saint, and we also went to her to refine a sacred pill, so her fee was very high. Qi Shi nodded. This woman has a lot to do with the May Emperor. Jiang Shang said. Back then when she dragged us to search for the May Emperor, it was at that time that I met her. As he thought about the past, Jiang Shang sighed endlessly. What happened with the May Emperor was probably the most difficult memory to erase in his heart. Since you know her, why don't you stay in the sacred region for a while longer? Her strength is not bad. Dealing with Thunder Emperor and the others won't be a problem. Qi Shi said. I will go to Super Old Sacred City to look for her. She won't see me. I didn't want to trouble her. She also had many troubles in the sacred domain. I wasn't desperate at that time. Xianxia laughed. Are you sure you want to go see the vermilion bird? Okay. I'll go find her alone. The white tiger said. I'll be leaving first. It's best not to go that quickly. The white tiger turned into a cloud of black gas and disappeared. Qi Shi laughed. He's afraid that we'll see him make a fool of himself. Are the two of you going to meet the vermilion bird? Long Shui asked. I won't be going. I want to walk around the life forest. Maybe I can find some secrets here. Jiang Shang laughed. I heard that there are a lot of good materials here. I plan to refine a divine weapon soon. Qi Shi shook his head. I'm not going either. That shrew is not to be trifled with. Qi Shi and Jiang Shang originally wanted to go see the vermilion bird, but knowing that the vermilion bird wanted to condense its divine deity gave them a huge blow. The vermilion bird, after its rebirth, was actually much stronger than them, which made them very uncomfortable. Just like that, Qi Shi and Jiang Shang left. Long Shui returned to the serene jade ring, and according to Dongfang Xinyue's guidance, he headed towards the location of the vermilion bird. Xianxia left the tree hole in the big tree and flew into the forest filled with the gigantic violet leaf trees. He flew towards that gust of cold wind because he was going towards the second barrier outside the life forest, the cold wind forest. Those monkeys again. Xianxia suddenly heard that roar and anxiously looked back, only to see that in the forest, countless purple monkeys were quickly jumping from tree to tree, and through the vines, they moved between the trees at an extremely fast speed. If there were a few hundred of these purple monkeys, Xianxia would not have thought much, since this was a very ancient life forest, but there were at least 10,000 of them heading towards him, covering a large area of the forest behind him. When they quickly rushed over, they rushed over like a purple tide, which was very scary. Not for you. Long Shui said. Their speed isn't considered too fast. It seems like they are rushing to a place and not chasing after a target. Xianxia anxiously used his spatial energy and hid himself within the chaotic space to avoid this group of purple monkeys. These monkeys were all holy beasts, with tens of thousands of them attacking at the same time. It was extremely terrifying. Xianxia did not want to get entangled with these monkeys. This was also one of the scarier parts of Purple Leaf Forest. Saint beasts were all small in size and were hard to deal with when they were strong. Dongfang Xinyue said, This is just a small team. The entire beast herd here is usually around 100,000. The Monkey King leading this group of purple monkeys should be a human saint or even an emperor-level expert. Why are they so powerful? How did they all grow up? Xianxia came out of the chaotic space and couldn't help but exclaim as he looked at the purple-colored clouds that were gradually disappearing in the distance. Before, I said that the beasts that were born here all have a special purple energy. They can grow by eating the purple leaves here, and the purple leaves grow very quickly here. This place is also very big, so for the beasts here, there are almost endless amounts of purple energy. Xianxia wanted to go and see where the group of purple monkeys were headed to, so he followed closely behind them. With their endless reproduction, there will be a day when this purple leaf forest will not be able to contain so many holy beasts. Long Shui said, although the beasts here can rely on eating the purple leaves to grow quickly, large-scale battles will still occur between different races. The vermilion bird ancestor told me before that to the beasts here, this is their feast because during the battle, those who die will be eaten. Hearing Dongfang Xinyue say that, a large group of small-sized holy beasts started to fight in Xianxia's mind, tearing and devouring the bloody scene in front of him. He suspected that the group of purple monkeys was going to enjoy the so-called grand feast. After Xianxia followed behind the troop of monkeys for most of the day, he noticed that there were two other groups of monkeys approaching and then gathering together. At this time, the number of purple holy monkeys had already reached 100,000. If such a large number of holy beasts were placed in the nine-heaven world, the damage they would cause would be unimaginable. Even a place like the Saint Realm would probably have a headache. Will these holy beasts leave this purple leaf forest? Just a single beast race of this purple leaf forest has so many holy beasts. It seems like this sacred water heavenly realm isn't weak at all. Xianxia lamented. No, those strange purple leaves are something that they rely on to survive on. If they don't have this purple leaf to eat, they will die quickly. So the beasts in purple leaf forest cannot go anywhere else. They can only rule over this place. Just as Dongfang Xinyue finished speaking, a low and deep shout came from the front. One could tell that there was a large group of purple holy beasts there. It's a group of purple wild boars. They're not too big, but they look really powerful. Long Shui said. Xianxia flew to the top of the forest and watched the battle below. He was already able to see the purple wild boars with purple skin and the two fangs at their mouths that were glowing with a purple light. It was obvious that they were good materials for smithing. It was foreseeable that there would be a bloody battle here. The purple monkeys looked small, but their nails were very sharp. When they bared their fangs, they showed a cold glint. It was obvious that they could easily tear apart a thick layer of tough skin. The number of wild boars are few, and their agility is inferior to those monkeys. It seems like this group of wild boars is going to be out of luck. Pearl and Kong Bailing could all see the situation outside from the inside. The purple monkeys were all on the trees, hundreds of thousands of them, surrounding the wild boar in a circle, baring their teeth and shouting. The group of wild boars let out deep roars, causing the fangs to emit an intimidating purple light. One could tell that the battle strength of these wild boars was very strong. Even though it was only 50,000 or 60,000 berserk beasts, it didn't seem like they would lose. Xianxia was hiding up there, while the purple monkey and wild boar below him were not aware of him. Not to mention that they were all shouting and yelling. How could they care about anything else? The battle had not yet begun, and both sides were shouting to increase their momentum. Suddenly, a purple light flashed, and a tall man with a purple cape that fluttered in the wind appeared. He held a purple spear in his hand, and with a loud roar, he raised it high up into the air. This should be the monkey emperor of the purple monkey. Its strength is indeed very strong. Xianxia frowned. He had previously planned to take advantage of something, but the kings of the beasts were all extremely strong, so even if a strong ranker like Thunder Emperor came, he would not casually fight with a beast emperor. The emperor of the wild boars also came out. It was a middle-aged giant man wearing a purple armor. The monkey emperor was already majestic enough, but this wild boar emperor was 2 heads taller than his opponent, and the weapon in his hand was also very domineering. It was a huge sword as wide as a door. With the appearance of the 2 beast emperors, their killing intent skyrocketed. This battle was unavoidable. Kill! The wild boar emperor was the first to shout. After a loud roar, the monkey emperor also roared and turned into a purple light, soaring high into the sky. The wild boar emperor did the same, flying high up into the sky to fight the monkey emperor. In the blink of an eye, a wave of pressure descended upon the 2 beast emperors. The two beast emperors had already clashed, and the violet monkey and wild boar below were engaged in battle as well. These guys, why are they fighting? There is no lack of resources in this place, so there is no need to engage in such pointless battles. Xianxia frowned as he looked at the tragic and bloody scene. He shook his head. The vermilion bird ancestor was also very curious about this sort of behavior. After many years of research, she found out that most of the beast emperors here fought their battles and that it wasn't that difficult for the beasts here to grow into saint beasts. It was just a matter of time before they stopped growing up. Dongfang Xinyue said. Chun Xiang had already guessed something and said, although it is only in the purple leaf forest, many of the holy beasts here are ambitious. Later on, they would definitely discover a way to break through the bottleneck. Dongfang Xinyue nodded his head. That's right. It's eating flesh and blood. But it's not always effective when eating. It's only effective at a specific time. This should be a cycle. When the time comes, these sacred beasts will consciously gather together and have the beast emperor command them to go around killing each other. Long Shui said, in that case, after this period of time, the ones that can survive will all have eaten the most and be the strongest. Chun Xiang had already seen a few purple monkeys who were fighting very fiercely. Although they looked to be about the same as the other purple monkeys, they were very experienced and easy to see through. This is a good opportunity. These guys only eat meat. There must be a lot of beast spirits. Long Shui said. Chun Xiang had been paying attention since the beginning, so he did not make any moves to fear that he would attract the attention of the two beast emperors. However, he had already secretly used his powerful and formless divine power and used the soul-absorbing devil spells method to release a soul-sealing curse to envelop the battlefield. You can start now. Those two beast emperors fought very fiercely, and they have distanced themselves from here. Long Shui said. Chun Xiang began to devour all the beast souls that were floating in the vicinity and absorb them all into the divine sense sea as quickly as he would absorb Holy Spirit Qi. Then he placed them into the divine deity and used the divine deity to quickly refine them. The people here were all saint beasts. The beast spirits here were exceptionally strong and most of them were very pure. Much better than the demons of hell. A beast soul of 10,000 was equal to 100,000 demons. After fighting for an entire day, a total of 70 to 80,000 purple monkeys and wild boars died, and the two monster emperors did not manage to split their burden, retreating both parties. However, Chun Xiang's harvest was extremely huge. With such a large number of beast spirits, he quickly strengthened his spirit. He felt that if he stayed here for a while longer and looked for a great battle like this, he might be able to use this method to cultivate Emperor Soul. What does it feel like? Chun Xiang suddenly felt that something was amiss. He anxiously channeled his spatial energy, causing him to instantly enter the tyrannical space. Just as he entered the tyrannical space, the divine soul that Chun Xiang left at his original spot saw a few people descend. They were the Thunder Emperoress, Dragon Emperoress, and some other holy masters that he was familiar with. These guys really are haunting us like ghosts. Just now, it was so close. We were almost covered by them again. Chun Xiang sighed. He had no choice but to admit that this group of people had made great progress while chasing and killing him, especially in the area of concealing auras. If not for his extremely sharp perception of space fluctuations, he would have been trapped earlier and would have had to face a large group of experts. After his previous experience of being sealed within a sealed space in the floating city, even now, Chun Xiang not only used the method of sensing auras to guard against enemies, but also the way the space around him fluctuated, allowing him to release an invisible space domain. As long as someone stepped into the space domain, he would be able to detect them as long as they were able to affect space in the slightest. Can't we stay here any longer? Chun Xiang still wanted to stay in the purple leaf forest because he could obtain a large amount of beast spirits. Of course you can, but you have to be careful. The new evil emperor did not follow him. I wonder if he went back. If he was still here, then he would have killed this guy. Long Shui said. Letting Chun Xiang face a few strong of Lord Stage was not something he could handle with his current strength. But if it was against a new evil emperor, he felt that it wouldn't be a problem. How can I find that evil emperor? Right now, Chun Xiang not only had to avoid the Thunder Emperor and the others tracking, he also had to find the evil emperor. There are two possibilities. Firstly, he gave up trying to kill you, and secondly, he has the confidence to catch you on his own. If it's the latter, then he might have a way. Long Shui said, "The evil emperor should know that I have obtained the inheritance of the devil-suppressing heavenly venerable. If he were to fight alone with me, he would definitely not be able to obtain any benefits, and even coming here to capture me under these circumstances, he definitely has some other methods. It seems that I have to be careful." Xianxia was now even more vigilant, paying attention to the spatial ripples in his surroundings. If there was even the slightest movement, he would immediately hide into the chaotic space to avoid the sudden sneak attack. Then don't enter the cold wind forest first. Stay here, and look for those beasts that have fought a great battle. On one hand, you need to absorb the beast spirit, and on the other hand, you need to train your ability to use the space domain. At that time, even if someone hides their presence very well, it would be hard for them to escape your senses. Long Shui said. With himself as the center, it formed a very large spatial sensing domain. As long as someone stepped into this space domain, they would immediately know that if they used it proficiently, even if it was a small flying insect, they would immediately sense it. Although Xianxia controlled the power of the spatial laws, no one would instruct him how to use it. He could only figure out how to use the powerful and mysterious power of space on his own, and now that he had used it well, he could either teleport far away or engage in long-distance spatial slaughter. Currently, he was trying to figure out how to use the power of space to form his own domain, so that he could discover his pursuers ahead of time. The domain that he had released must have a large area of effect. If it was too small, he would have only sensed it before the others had arrived and set up a barrier to seal the space. After mastering the space domain, I still need to learn how to break through the spatial seal, Xianxia said firmly. Before, when the Hell Devil troop was besieging him and when he was being ambushed by the Thunder Emperor and the others, they were all extremely strong spatial seals. Breaking through this kind of seal should be the easiest for him who possessed spatial energy, but he didn't know how to do it. Right now, this was his top priority, and he planned to figure out how to use the space domain while learning it. Xianxia stood on top of a huge purple leaf that was a huge tree and released an invisible force of space. This weak force of space carried his divine power, covering an area of 50 kilometers, and then, he calmed his heart to sense any movement. Normally, one could also use God power to sense something like this, but the God power only sensed through the breath, and anything would have a tiny bit of aura. Once the God power was released, the surroundings would appear in one's mind, but the person with the ability to conceal their aura could not be detected, and they would be able to approach unknowingly. Xianxia and Long Shui's concealment skills were extremely strong, so they could often sneak in close to some strong warriors and launch sneak attacks without anyone noticing. But now, those people from the Thunder Emperor had learned some profound concealment techniques from the Hell Devil Emperor, which allowed them to hide themselves well from Xianxia before stealthily approaching him. Right now, Xianxia was using the power of space to display this kind of sensing domain. As long as he and Xianxia were in the same space, the moment he entered his domain, he could immediately feel that even concealing his aura would not be of any use. In his space, the slightest movement would produce a certain degree of spatial change, which would be detected by him. Right now, he could very clearly feel that there were very small ants crawling on the ground. He could even feel the sand and dust that were blown by the breeze entering his space domain. But Xianxia felt that it was not enough because he had used too much spatial energy, causing him to expend a lot of energy. He had to adjust it to make use of the least amount of spatial energy to complete space domain. His space domain did not only use a moment, but he could use it at any time, so he had to control his energy consumption. He kept changing locations, and after using it many times, he became more and more proficient in it. Even when he was moving at a high speed, the space domain would not disappear. In these 10 days, no one from Thunder Emperor had chased after him. Perhaps it was because of the continuous change in his position, but even if he did catch up, before he could even get close to him, he had already moved on. Although it was very difficult to catch up with Xianxia, Thunder Emperor and the others were already mentally prepared. They felt that spending some time to kill Xianxia was much better than their own painstaking efforts to condense their divine deity, because even if they spent a lot of time to do so, it might end in nothing. It was different from chasing Xianxia. Just as Xianxia had guessed, the Hell Devil Emperor had already increased the bounty on him to 3 divine deities. Thus the experts of Thunder Emperor, Dragon Emperor, and the Ho clan formed a group and led a few holy masters to chase after Xianxia. It's time to test the results of my training. Xianxia stood on top of a leaf. He planned to stay there for a long time and wait for Thunder Emperor and the others to come. He wanted to see how well he was using the space domain. Once Xianxia stopped at a certain place, Thunder Emperor and the others would receive a message from Hell, and then they would quickly head towards that place. Now, their communication jade symbol paper was trembling, with Xianxia's detailed location inside. When they found out, they immediately rushed over. He's coming. Xianxia waited for more than 6 hours, when he suddenly sensed that there were more than 10 space domains inside, and a distance away from him. This time, he could clearly feel how many people had come in, and he could clearly sense the shape and outline of their faces. Very good. Xianxia was extremely satisfied with his space domain, so he turned and left, but just as he was about to leave, a spatial seal suddenly enveloped him. Just a little more. Thunder Emperor saw the undulating space, which was the remnant spatial energy that Xianxia used to travel and leave. Could it be that our concealment spell is useless? An old man asked. He had followed Thunder Emperor from the Heavenly Thunder region and learned the same concealment technique. If a person failed to master the concealment technique, they would not be able to participate. Therefore, this group of people had gone through a strict examination before they chased after Xianxia. The Dragon Emperor shook his head. When we rush over, it might affect the flow of air. Xianxia is so vigilant, so he probably left after sensing it. A few days ago, when we were very far from him, didn't he also run around? All of the experts present had experienced such situations before. Sometimes they would have to do extremely secretive things, and whenever there was such a commotion in the surroundings, they would immediately leave. With Elder Ho here, we still have a lot of advantages. We have to hurry and take Xianxia down before the other teams come over. Thunder Emperor said. These 3 divine deity must be ours. Xianxia, who was in the distance, listened to the conversation between the Thunder Emperor and the others using the spatial wiretap. Elder Ho, could it be that it's someone from the Ho clan? Xianxia frowned and asked Dongfang Xinyue, how strong is the strongest guy in Ho clan? Very strong. The Vermilion Bird ancestor said that the old man from the Ho clan is one of the strongest experts in the Sacred Water Heavenly Realm. He is as powerful as the 9 emperors and 5 venerables was back in the day. Dongfang Xinyue said. In other words, the evil emperor was taken away from them, as well as being not with them. Xianxia laughed. This evil emperor must be very angry. If they had to fight, Thunder Emperor would not want to fight him too. But to Xianxia, the evil emperor was an extremely easy opponent to deal with, especially after seeing Xianxia instantly exterminate the Hell Devil troop. Even the evil emperor was secretly shocked in his heart, because Xianxia was also a huge threat to him. I wonder if this fellow is still here. Let's go look around. If he's alone, we'll finish him off. Long Shui said. In the Purple Leaf Forest, one could use the cold wind to determine their approximate location. If the cold wind was strong and made people feel cold, it would mean that they were close to the cold wind forest. One could choose which location in the Purple Leaf Forest they wanted to move to through the cold wind. Right now, Xianxia was in the middle of the Purple Leaf Forest, carefully observing his surroundings to see if there were any traces of a herd of beasts. There's a footprint down there, Long Shui suddenly said. Xianxia immediately dove down and arrived in a sparse forest. He landed on the ground, looked at the huge footprints, and started to frown. The footprints were very large. As he laid on them, he felt that there were still a lot of space left. Warm moon. Aren't all the holy beasts here small? Xianxia looked around, only to realize that the footprints were only there, as though the gigantic thing had suddenly appeared and walked a distance away, and then suddenly flew away. That's right, but there are giant beasts as well. There are only a majority of the smaller beasts. It's very difficult to breed large beasts in this place, even though flowers, plants, and trees are all giant. Dongfang Xinyue was also very puzzled. Judging from this footprint, it's 4-legged, a bit like a lion. Long Shui replied, "It shouldn't be a lion, right?" The big lion that Long Shui spoke of was Qishur. "No, he is not here." Xianxia shook his head and followed the footprints. He found something strange. It was that the soil inside these footprints were a little black. Xianxia grabbed them and threw them into the serene jade ring, letting Long Shui and the others have a good look. How strange. This soil should have just turned black. I don't know why it turned black, but there's no color at all. Dongfang Xinyue was very suspicious. Following that, she released a flame and set it on fire. What surprised the girls was that after it was burned, the soil turned into a black paste. This is a very evil power. However, it has been concealed very well and will not emit any evil aura. Long Shui's voice carried a kind of fear, which was extremely rare. "What is this?" Xianxiang asked anxiously. "I don't know. I only know that those who possess this level of evil power are all very strong. Could it be that the new evil emperor, isn't this fellow a human?" Long Shui was even more suspicious. "Could it be the primordial evil lion?" Pearl said, "Legend has it that there were many powerful beasts in the ancient times. They were all lion-type beasts." Kong Bailing also nodded. "For example, 10 Heaven's Supreme Lord and Super Old Fire Beast. I have heard of stories about them." Dongfang Xinyue asked, "Sister Shui Yi, do you know anything about the primordial evil lion?" Long Shui was silent for a moment, then said, "I have heard of it. This guy does indeed exist. It's just that I have never seen it before. This guy rarely appears, but he's actually very strong and mysterious. Back then, Qishur and the Great Flame Lion wanted to find him and kill him, but they couldn't find him no matter what. If this footprint is his, then why would he appear here?" Right now, Xianxiang was even more vigilant than before. He felt that this legendary primordial evil lion was not something that could be dealt with using the devil-suppressing kung fu, because he could not feel that evil energy at all. It did not have the slightest bit of evil qi, but it was terrifyingly evil. "Qishur and Old Jiang are both here. Go and ask them. It would be best if they could even find the big white cat." Long Shui said, "The primordial evil lion is not someone you can deal with." Xiang became even more vigilant now, in case he got ambushed by this immemorial evil lion. What he did not understand was that this immemorial evil lion should be able to maintain its human form, so why would it suddenly transform into a beast form? Just as Xianxiang was considering to leave the purple leaf forest, a lion's roar came from afar. It was not loud, and came from a far distance away. "That's Qishur's cry." Just as Long Shui finished speaking, another lion's roar came, this time with a much deeper tone. "Two big lions. Could it be that Qishur has met the primordial evil lion?" Xianxiang immediately rushed in that direction. When Xianxiang was on the road, he originally thought that there would be fighting soon, but it was extremely quiet in front of him. He had already felt Qishur's aura, and also felt a very faint presence with Qishur. "Don't tell me they know each other," Xianxiang thought in his heart. He had already seen Qishur and Jiang Shang, and there was even a black-robed man beside them. When Xianxiang got close, Qishur and the others noticed, and immediately looked over. However, Xianxiang quickly traveled through space, and appeared beside Qishur. "Brat, you're still in Purple Leaf Forest." Qishur was surprised to see Xianxiang here. "Yeah, I want to stay here for a while longer." Xianxiang looked at the black-gowned man and asked, "This is?" Qishur laughed. "An old friend. He and I are both from Sacred Beast's ancient realm. I thought he had gone to God's realm. I didn't expect him to be here." Jiangsheng laughed. "Old Black, you aren't here to kill this brat in exchange for divine deity, right?" The black-robed man shook his head and laughed. "Of course not. I just heard that you were here, so I immediately came. You didn't fight with those guys. It's a pity. Have you become weaker?" Xiang did not ask further, but he was wary of the black-robed man, because the black-robed man had an extremely terrifying demonic power. Jiangshang and Qishur seemed to have a good relationship with the black-robed man, but Long Shui did not know who the black-robed man was. Long Shui sent a sound transmission to Xianxiang, telling him to be careful of the black-robed man. Xiang looked around and found some footprints. Among them were those gigantic footprints he had seen before, but the soil inside those footprints were not black, and they were not the same as the one in front of him before, which made him even more suspicious. This must be Xiang, who has given those fellows a headache. The man in black patted Xiang's shoulder and chuckled. Qi Shi laughed heartily and said to Xiang, "Old Black is a very strong guy in the sacred beast's ancient realm. Even my master has a very high opinion of him. Don't just look at his dark face and black clothes. He is actually a snow lion that uses cold energy." That Old Black smiled slightly and said, "I came here this time to investigate the cold wind forest in this life forest and see if it can be of some help to my cultivation. So it's like this? Then let's go in and take a look together." Qi Shi put a hand on Xiang's shoulder. "How about we go together, although you can give us a lot of trouble? But that's what I want, after coming here for so long. If we don't fight a few of them, it's not fun at all." Xiang laughed. "I still plan to stay in the purple leaf forest for a period of time. You guys can head to the cold wind forest first. I'll contact you guys when the time comes." After Jiangshang and Xiang bid their farewell, they left with Lao He. Although there were saint beasts inside the cold wind forest, there weren't as many saint beasts as outside. Only groups of saint beasts outside the purple leaf forest could satisfy his appetite. He still wanted to find the evil emperor outside the purple leaf forest and kill him, but there was another reason why he did not understand the mysterious Old Black. Although Jiangshang and Qi Shi had a good relationship with him, he gave off an unreliable feeling. "I've never heard of that Old Black, but there's definitely a problem. I can confirm that the footprints near Qi Shi previously were the same as the black footprints we saw before." Long Shui said, "The power he is currently using is definitely not the power of ice." Xiang took out a piece of communication jade symbol paper and sent a message to Qi Shi. As long as they weren't too far away, they would be able to communicate it to him. He told Qi Shi about the doubt in his heart and told him to be careful. Qi Shi did not reply. Xiang was not too worried about him and Jiangshang. They were all old veterans. If he were to remind them now, they would definitely be more cautious. Xiang continued to search through the purple leaf forest for herd beasts. After meeting Qi Shi and the others, he searched for more than 3 days and finally found traces of herd beasts. Following the footprints on the ground, Xiang was quickly able to keep up with the beasts. This group of saint beasts only had around 50 to 60,000 of them, and were all purple-spotted leopards. From the looks of it, they should be on their way to kill the beasts. This period of time might be when the beasts are enjoying the feast. Dongfang Xinyue said. Very quickly, Xiang sensed the aura of another wave of beasts. Judging from the aura, the number and strength of the beasts were much stronger than the group of leopards he was following. "It's a group of purple tigers, and there's so many of them," Xiang exclaimed. In the forest ahead were all purple striped tigers, growling softly, their bodies brimming with killing intent. Long Shui laughed. "There are still others in the distance." Xiang immediately widened the range of his senses and released his soul to search, quickly discovering a group of purple wolves. This group had a lot more wolves than the purple leopard and the purple tiger combined. The group of wolves were quite a distance away, so even if they wanted to come over, it would still take some time. However, they seemed to be waiting for an opportunity to kill the tigers and leopards here. "It's begun!" Long Shui shouted excitedly. As the emperors on both sides roared, the battle between the tiger and leopard started. This battle was even more brutal and bloody than the battle between the pig and monkey that Xiang had witnessed before. The moment the battle started, he released an invisible formation to seal off all of the beast's souls and prevent them from leaving the area. The souls of these sacred beasts are very strong. Xiang and the other beast emperors distanced themselves and started to devour the large amount of beast spirits floating in the air. "The wolves are coming," Long Shui reminded. Xiang had always been paying attention to the wolves. Like what he had expected, as long as both sides fought, and when a small number of them were killed or injured, the pack of violet wolves would come over, the wolves would stay far away from them. When they flew over, the tiger and leopard would fight to the end, and both sides would definitely suffer from heavy injuries. The tigers and leopards all engaged in a great battle in the distance. After an entire day, their auras gradually weakened, and if this were to continue, then one of them would definitely be killed. More than half of the tigers and leopards would also die, and the majority of the survivors would be riddled with scars. At this moment, the wolves hiding in the distance had finally arrived. The timing was very accurate. Sensing that the wolf pack had arrived, the two beast emperors reacted. Anger filled their hearts as they hurriedly retreated, but it was blocked by the wolf emperor. Even if they worked together, it would still be difficult to defeat the wolf emperor in a short period of time. Xianxia hid inside the tree cave and used the heaven tour method to observe the fight below. The group of tigers and leopards who had both suffered injuries and both sides were surrounded and killed by a large number of purple wolves, and more than half of them died in the blink of an eye. The group of purple wolves were like hungry ghosts reincarnated, eating very quickly. Very quickly, Xianxia reaped another large number of beast spirits, but seeing that Zilang did not die, he felt that it was a pity. Make your move. Kill all of these violet wolves. Long Shui laughed. Do you need my help? Xianxia's expression suddenly became serious, and said, No need. I can settle it myself. He closed his eyes and started to circulate the heavenly alchemy. Previously, he had used this exact move against Hell Devil Troop, but now, he could do the same against this group of unsuspecting purple wolves. The mantis stalks the cicada and the oriole. Xianxia was ready for a moment, then smiled, only to see a gigantic gold light barrier suddenly appearing, enveloping all the purple wolves. Sensing that something was wrong, the group of violet wolves howled as they called for their wolf king, but to no avail. Within the barrier of light that enveloped them, an extremely high amount of heat suddenly appeared, causing the majority of the violet wolves to instantly dissipate into purple energy. Under Xianxia's heavenly alchemy, approximately 100,000 purple wolves were instantly smelted. Their soul and flesh were melted into energy and quickly melted into a purple pellet. The Wolf King is back. Long Shui shouted. Xianxia grabbed the purple pellet that had just been refined, and then quickly left through spatial travel. When the returning Wolf King saw that there were only a few purple wolves and leopards left on the battlefield, it became extremely furious. With a roar of rage, the remaining leopards and tigers quickly fled. What Xianxia did not know was that right after he left, the people who were chasing him had arrived. Only this time it was not Thunder Emperor but another team. Not long after Xianxia drove them away, they arrived at this place. The furious Wolf Emperor saw that there were humans here and thought it was them, so he started fighting. What a formidable Wolf Emperor! Xianxia was already far from that battlefield. This time, his harvest was very bountiful, much more than the last time when he obtained the beast spirit. After consuming the pellet and fusing it with his divine deity, he continued to search for the purple beast herd. Originally, he was going to sit down and refine it, but now that he was being chased everywhere, he had to frequently change his position to avoid the group that was chasing him. In the next few days, as Xianxia continuously changed positions and refined the beast spirit that he had devoured before, the strength of his spirit was becoming more and more obvious. However, in order to cultivate the Emperor soul, he still had a long way to go. At dawn, when he came to the side of a purple-colored lake, one of his communication jade symbol paper suddenly trembled. He took it out and took a look, and found that it was actually Qishur who had sent the message. Brat, be careful. There is indeed something wrong with that old black. He is no longer the old black that I am familiar with. Where are you? When Xianxia heard this news, he held onto the communication jade symbol paper tightly. With a frown, he told Long Shui the news and where he was at. Qishur and Zhangshang did not enter the Cold Wind Forest because before they entered the Cold Wind Forest, they had conducted all sorts of tests on Old Black. Xianxia had waited for more than 2 hours, and Qishur had already rushed over with their fastest speed. What's the problem with that Old Black? Xianxia asked anxiously. It's a very strange feeling. The body is still the same and the soul is also the same. However, it's not the familiar Old Black that we're familiar with. Qishur sighed. There has been a huge change in personality, but in order to get close to us, he pretended to be familiar with the personality. Zhangshang said, after being discovered, This fellow actually revealed a trace of anger. Luckily we have displayed some strength, or else he would have fought with us, so he ran away in the end. We guessed that he might have come for you. Qi nodded his head. Although he said he wants to go to the Cold Wind Forest, on the way there, he used all sorts of excuses to stay in the Purple Leaf Forest and hinted at us to go find you a few times. I think he wants to find an opportunity to sneak attack you. Is he the legendary primordial evil lion? I once discovered an evil power left behind by him. Xianxia took out a handful of soil and gave it to Qi and Jiangshang. When Qi and Jiangshang first saw the soil, they did not feel anything different. Black soil was very common, but when they held it in their hands and roasted it with fire, they could feel a very terrifying evil aura. Sure enough, Qi sighed, looked at Xianxia and asked with a serious face. This was really discovered from the footprints. Xianxia nodded. Jiangshang said, it is indeed a very powerful evil aura. Great Lion, what do you know? Qi let out a long sigh. The old black we know might have been devoured already. Even his soul and body might have been devoured. And the one who devoured old black could very well be the primordial evil lion. Therefore, that fellow has the memories of coming into contact with us. However, he is not old black. This bastard. Jiangshang was extremely furious. A friend of theirs had actually died like this. Qi said seriously, if it really is the primordial evil lion, I'm afraid that it will be difficult for us to deal with it. It would be best to call Master and the Vermilion Bird over, since his target is Xianxia, and I think it wouldn't be difficult for us to lure him out. Neither of you can deal with him, Xianxia said in shock. He is currently in a restrained state, so it will be difficult to find him. If he reveals his true face, it will be hard for me to harm him with my current strength. If it was me from back then, it would be even better. Qi shook his head. It seems that we need to find Master and the Vermilion Bird quickly. Long Xue's voice suddenly came from within the serene jade ring. How powerful is this immemorial evil lion? It actually wants the big white cat and the fire bird to attack together. Little dragon, you didn't meet this guy back then, so you have no idea how powerful he is, not to mention that after all these years, he hasn't been sealed and doesn't need to experience rebirth. His strength will certainly be even more terrifying, and even if he doesn't have divine deity, his strength will be even more terrifying than an ordinary emperor-level cultivator. Qi said. Xianxia, you have to be careful. Do not let him get near with his strength. The moment he gets close to you and attacks you, it will not be difficult to take you down. Qi cautiously warned Xianxia. Xianxia looked around at the purple leaves and the purple lake, and said, let's go. We will go to Divine Fire Forest to search for the Vermilion Bird. Qi and Jiangshang nodded. Jiangshang took out a boat with a cabin. Inside it was a hall and a few rooms. Although they were quite narrow, but on a magic treasure that could fly quickly, it could be considered pretty good. As soon as they entered the Cold Wind Forest, the place was as cold as snow and as extremely cold as ice, and even more powerful than Dtion's profound cold ancient realm. But the boat that Jiangshang refined not only could resist the cold, it could also swiftly fly and defend against powerful attacks. Long Xue came out of the serene jade ring and sat at a table next to the window in the hall. While looking at the bizarre purple scenery outside, she also ate the holy snow pear that Qi had compensated her with. In order to let Jiangshang know how to get to the Vermilion Bird's residence, Xianxia asked Dongfang Xinyue to come out. So it's you. Both he and Qi knew Dongfang Xinyue. Back then, Xianxia had told Jiangshang to look for the ice dragon race and instruct them in refining it. At that time, Dongfang Xinyue had also participated. Greetings, seniors. Dongfang Xinyue bowed to the two of them. Long Xue scoffed. There's no need to be so courteous to them. Warm Moon, if you let the Vermilion Bird know that you're being so courteous to them, the Vermilion Bird will definitely blame you. Jiangshang laughed. That's right, little miss, in front of the Vermilion Bird, you must not be courteous to us, or else that fellow will definitely say something about you. Don't worry, we don't care. We won't blame you. I want to know how Master is doing right now. Did he get beaten up by the Vermilion Bird? But then again, did the Vermilion Bird and the Black Tortoise have that kind of relationship back then? Why did the profound wood diamond armor you refined have that ambiguous relationship? Does the vermilion bird know about this? Qi Shi laughed sinisterly. She doesn't know. You guys must not speak of this, otherwise she will beat me to death. Jiang Shang warned everyone with a serious face. Dongfang Xinue was more familiar with the cold wind forest. She had visited the vermilion bird a few times before and was able to tell everyone in detail about the situation here. The holy beasts in this cold wind forest aren't as numerous as the ones outside. All the holy beasts here prefer to travel alone, so the scarier ones are the profound Han poisoness. Even the vermilion bird ancestor would have to take a detour if she met any powerful profound cold poisonous beast, fearing that she would clash with them. Dongfang Xinue said, "The moment we enter the cold wind forest, it means that we will be in danger at any time, so we are currently in danger." Jiang Shang said, "If even the vermilion bird is afraid of the profound frost poisonous beast, then we definitely cannot handle it. At that time, we can only see if this kid with impenetrable can handle it or not." Qi Shi laughed. "Even if we can't deal with him, he can take us and run, so there's nothing to be afraid of." Dongfang Xinue shook his head. "Cold wind forest is the second barrier. It's not that simple. If you're not familiar with this place, it would be difficult to find the powerful poisonous beast hiding here. Sometimes, even if you stand on his back, it would be difficult for you to find out that he is actually a profound frost poisonous beast. Once the profound frost poisonous beast attacks, it will become an extremely powerful profound Han poison, and if you are unable to withstand it, you will be poisoned." Chun Xiang said, "Is the profound cold poisonous beast really that good at hiding?" Dongfang Xinue nodded his head. "Right. It's hard to discover. Even if you saw it with your own eyes and probed deeper, it would be hard to discover that it's actually the profound frost poisonous beast. When I came here with the vermilion bird grandmaster earlier, I was attacked by a profound frost poisonous beast." Qi Shi scratched his chin. "Is it really that demonic? Cold wind forest and purple leaf forest are the same as each other. They both develop a special kind of energy. You should have already seen the special purple energy of the purple leaf forest, but the cold wind forest is a special kind of cold energy, as well as a large number of profound Han poison. Most of the holy beasts born here all possess profound Han poison." Chun Xiang creased his eyebrows and said somewhat fearfully, "It can even freeze space. Looks like this second barrier isn't as simple as I thought. We have to be a bit more careful." Qi Shi knocked on the wall and asked, "Old Jiang, aside from being able to withstand the cold, can your broken boat be able to defend against the poison?" Jiang Shang said, "It should be possible. The profound Han poison is mainly a type of cold qi. It is mainly using the cold qi to quickly infiltrate the body and poison it. As long as people feel cold, it means that they will be poisoned, and now we are already inside the cold wind forest. Do you guys feel cold?" No one felt cold, and they were immediately relieved. Jiang Shang was a divine craftsman after all. He had never died before, so he did not need to be reborn. Although he had always been protecting Qi Shi's corpse, this did not mean that his strength had not increased. Long Shui did not really care, as she rarely took action. She would be the first one to enter Chun Xiang's ring when the situation arose, so if Chun Xiang needed her power, she would lend it to him. Right now, she was leisurely eating her holy snow pear and watching the beautiful snowy scenery outside the window. The cold wind blew in the snow and ice. There were trees here too, but not many of them. They were all trees that were separated by a great distance, and it was unknown whether they were alive or dead as they were covered in layers of ice. "Look, that rock moved. Look, that rock moved." Dragon Blood, who had been staring out of the window, suddenly shouted. Jiang Shang hurriedly stopped the boat, and then everyone went over to the window and looked at the stone that Long Shui pointed to. The rock was as big as a bed, and it laid quietly on the ice. It did not move like Long Shui had said, and looking at the traces on the rock, it did not seem to move at all. "Did you see it wrong?" Qi Shi asked. He had already used his divine power to check and found out that it was a normal stone that was only sealed in ice. Chun Xiang and Jiang Shang also thought that Long Shui was wrong, because they had already checked the rock before and didn't find anything wrong with it. "I'm not wrong, that rock really moved a little just now. If you don't believe me, you should go over and take a look. It might be the powerful, profound, frost-poisonous beast that Warm Moon spoke of. Long Shui was very determined that he wasn't mistaken. Dongfang Xinhua frowned. It's best to be careful. How about we go over and take a look? If the stone is moving, we won't even be able to notice it, and if we find a chance to sneak attack it, the consequences will be unthinkable. I'll go out and take a look, Chen Xiang said. To be safe, Qi Shi and Zhang Shang suggested that Dongfang Xinhua enter Chen Xiang's ring. After Dongfang Xinhua and Long Shui entered the ring, Chen Xiang left the boat and flew to the stone that Long Shui had questioned. Arriving beside the stone, Chen Xiang used his leg to kick it hard, causing the stone to shatter. Qi Shi laughed. I knew that the Longan flower is just a normal rock. Chen Xiang heaved a sigh of relief, but just as he was about to return to the boat, he saw a ray of white light shooting towards the boat. With a hong sound, the small boat was sent flying by the powerful energy contained inside the white light. It broke apart a huge tree. The small boat had already transformed. Qi Shi and Zhang Shang came out from the boat, their expressions extremely ugly. Although the small boat could withstand the cold and the high temperature, it could not withstand such a strong attack. What was even more terrifying was that there was a profound Han poison inside the attack. In the instant that they felt the cold, Zhang Shang and Qi Shi were already poisoned, but they reacted quickly, and quickly circulated the divine power in their bodies to counter the profound Han poison. The white light shot over again. Chen Xiang anxiously dodged it. Taking out the green dragon demon-slain broadsword, he brandished his blade and opened it. If not, Zhang Shang and Qi Shi would be poisoned again. Are you guys okay? Chen Xiang asked, holding onto the green dragon demon-slain broadsword tightly. He activated Heaven Tour method and flew towards the direction of the white light, looking for the mysterious cold poisonous beast. It's fine, he won't die. You have to be careful. This guy who ambushed us is very powerful. The power he just unleashed was a very powerful godly force, and his strength is not any weaker than mine. Qi Shi warned Chen Xiang repeatedly. In the face of this kind of low-handed attack that was inherently powerful and knew how to use super-old poison, Qi Shi and Zhang Shang could only let Chen Xiang go, because they did not possess the physique of impenetrable. Leave it to me, you guys hide. Chen Xiang yelled in front of him. I've found you. He moved in a flash and arrived at a big tree in front of him. He swung his sword and released countless shadows of his blade. The big tree was broken into pieces. In the instant he chopped down, a white shadow flew out and actually dodged it. Chen Xiang now understood Dongfang Xinhua's worry. The poisonous beast in the cold wind forest were indeed very terrifying. They had extremely powerful concealment techniques. Their bodies were strong, and they controlled powerful super-old poison like the profound Han poison. Chen Xiang followed closely behind the white shadow, used his spatial energy to travel in front, and fiercely slashed with his blade to stop the white shadow. It was a young man with delicate features, but his lips were white. A pair of glasses emitted a white cold aura, and his long fingers exuded a deep cold aura. His fingernails were extremely sharp, like sharp daggers. You're courting death. The young man sneered, and a streak of white light spat out of his mouth. When it hit Chen Xiang's chest, it exploded into an extremely terrifying gust of cold air, causing Chen Xiang to retreat continuously in the air. Just as Chen Xiang stopped, he saw another white light flying towards him. This time it was towards his head. This white light that carried a deep cold aura was formed from an ice arrow. When it hit a person's body, it would instantly dodge, spitting out the venom of a profound Han poison, and quickly infiltrate their body. Previously, when he was too close to the young man, Chen Xiang was unable to dodge, but this time he could clearly see what was inside the white light. The ice arrow shattered when it hit the ice mountain, causing the shattered ice to melt and turn into a cold mist that surrounded Chen Xiang. Chen Xiang never thought that the profound Han poison contained within this small ice arrow would be so terrifying. The cold mist that was released immediately covered his eyes, but he could clearly feel that right now, there were tens of these ice arrows piercing towards him. With a single glance, he knew that the other party was a ruthless character, and had attacked so crazily from the very beginning. If they were dealing with an ordinary saint, they might have already killed several of them. Just the dense, profound Han poison in that cold mist was enough to give a group of Saint Realm experts a headache. The way the young man used the profound Han poison was very clever. It matched well with the powerful divine power, detoxifying the enemy while breaking through their defenses. If the young man was ambushed, as long as he could not defend against the profound Han poison, he would most likely be poisoned. Xianxia hurriedly hid himself in the tyrannical space, and then appeared from within. After stepping out, he sprinkled out a cloud of powder, which was the poison powder made from the combination of the magical corruption gas and the drunk god powder. As expected of the three divine deities, it's indeed hard to deal with. Your poison-fighting abilities are not bad. The magical corruption gas and the high-grade magical corruption gas you used just now are all high-grade, but they have no effect on me. I am a person who uses poison, and am able to suppress most of the strange poisons. In the end, the youth did not attack but instead stopped. Xianxia's cultivation was lower than him, but to be able to withstand his attack was admirable, and he couldn't help but praise him. He expected you to poison him, so he prepared in advance. It looks like this guy has been training to resist poison, Long Shui said. Xianxia never thought that the experts in the Cold Wind Forest would actually chase after him. The power of the Hell Devil Emperor to win over people's hearts was too terrifying. The three divine deities are mine now. After the man said that, Xianxia suddenly felt his body becoming stiff. The temperature of his entire body dropped a lot. This is the profound frost divine seal. The young man saw Xianxia struggling and sneered. Your strength is only this much. Your strength should be because of the magical corruption gas you used and the drunk god magical poison you used. Countless ice arrows suddenly appeared in the surroundings and quickly flew over. In that instant, Xianxia let out a loud roar, and his body erupted with the power of the dragon god. This was Long Shui's power, and it suddenly flowed into his body, allowing him to struggle free from your profound frost divine barrier. Break! Xianxia's body shook. His berserk divine power was released from his heaven-earth killing method, transforming into the terrifying vibrating power within. Boom! 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 The profound frost divine seal had been broken, and the ice arrows that were flying over had been shattered as well, turning into bursts of cold mist. Although there were extremely terrifying profound Han poison-s within the cold mist, it was useless against Xianxia. The young man's heart trembled. He never thought that the few moves that he was most proficient in would actually be broken by Xianxia. At this moment, he realized that the three divine deities were not that good, so he anxiously retreated. Seeing that he was going to run, Xianxia suddenly flashed and chased after the man. A white fan suddenly appeared in his hand. It seemed to be made from the snow-white and beautiful peacock feathers. It was extremely beautiful. Previously, although he was just casually saying that he wanted to use Kong Bailing's feathers to make a fan, but Kong Bailing wanted to give him a gift, so when she was bored, she used her own feathers to make a fan. Now, she gave the fan to Xianxia, letting him see if he could take care of this young man. Xianxia's ability to escape was very strong, and his ability to chase was as good as his. That young man couldn't get rid of Xianxia no matter how hard he tried, and he was even brought very close to Xianxia. If you want to kill me in exchange for divine deity, you must prepare to pay the price of your life. Xianxia sneered. He waved the white feather fan and waved it a few times, releasing a burst of white mist that covered the young man's body. Not long after Xianxia made his move, the other party stopped and fell from the sky. The inside of his body had already started to petrify. Xianxia landed on the ground, looked at the young man, and laughed. You are indeed powerful, but you actually met me. This is a strange petrification poison. How did you get this? Within the super old poison, this kind of strange poison is the rarest. I've been looking for it, but I didn't expect to meet it in such a way. After the man finished speaking, his body had already turned into a stone. Xianxia used the devouring magic kung fu on him, swallowing the divine soul inside and placing it inside the divine deity. He looked at the white feathered fan in his hand and smiled. Little peacock, your white feathered fan is quite powerful. Why did you kill that fellow so quickly? This fan is useless. The poison inside was completely released by you just now. Soon, the feathers will turn into dust. Kong Bailing giggled. I didn't expect it to be of use to you just now, and to even defeat such a powerful guy. Xianxia knew that these feathers were all Kong Bailing's best feathers. Although Kong Bailing said that it was fine, but Xianxia felt that if he pulled too much of them out, it would still have a huge impact on her. He had already decided that he would do his best to use petrification poison in the future. When Xianxia and Qi Shi walked out, their faces were slightly pale. It seemed that they had not completely exorcised the profound Han poison yet. This bastard! Xianxia fiercely stomped his foot on the stone statue, shattering it into pieces. Eternal life! Where did you get this poison from? You little monster, it's really too dangerous. Qi Shi looked at Xianxia with a terrified expression. I got it by chance. Eat this, it can help you quickly expel the poison, Xianxia said as he gave Qi Shi and Xianxia separate bottles. The small bottle was filled with pearl tears, and there were only a few drops in each bottle. After Qi Shi and Xianxia drank it up, they praised their drinking, and the profound Han poison inside their bodies were expelled extremely quickly, and they quickly recovered. Not only do you possess a powerful poison, you're even capable of expelling poison. Exactly where did you get all these things from? Xianxia was extremely curious. Xianxia laughed. If you search the boat that you were on earlier, I will tell you. Xianxia curled his lips, pointed to the boat that was blown away, and said, You saw it too. This kind of broken stuff is useless. Because that thing isn't the best yet. I know that you must have even better ones hidden inside. Hurry and take them out. Qi Shi patted Xianxia's shoulder and laughed. Quickly take it out. You are a divine craftsman, an existence that can refine divine weapons. The broken pieces just now were definitely just things that you used to practice with. You definitely have better things. As expected, Xianxia took out an even better iron ship. It looked like a jet-black iron ship. It was extremely sturdy, and was slightly bigger than the previous one. Don't even think about asking me for it. This is something that I spent many years of my life to create. I won't give it to anyone. When Xianxia saw Xianxia and Qi Shi staring at this boat with their fiery hot eyes, he quickly explained himself. If not, Xianxia and Qi Shi would pester him to death in the future. Although he was worried that Xianxia and Qi Shi would ask for it, Xianxia still demonstrated the power of the boat. Under his secret control, the originally pitch-black boat suddenly became transparent. So powerful. I actually can't sense it anymore. Xianxia exclaimed. What exactly is the material used to refine it? Space black iron. When Dongfang Xinyue's voice appeared in Xianxia's mind, she was also shocked by the boat's special properties. Xianxia chuckled. This was refined using a space black iron. It is well used. It can produce a special type of spatial energy. It can be isolated from other spaces, and it has the effect of isolating auras, adding a few materials that can become invisible. It will be able to perfectly hide away. Qi Shi snorted and jumped on the boat. If you have this good stuff, why didn't you take it out earlier? Xianxia curled his lips and said, Who knew that the things in this damned place are so powerful? Do you think I'm trying to be attacked by profound Han poison too? The interior hall of the boat was much larger than before, and there were a few more rooms. There were also baths inside, which made Xianxia envious, as he also wanted to take one. Long Shui and Dongfang Xinyue came out of the Yinyao ring and visited Xianxia's holy ship. Dongfang Xinyue looked at it very carefully, because she also wanted to build a ship like this one in the future, and Long Shui was only thinking of how to get it from Xianxia's hands. The power of the ship was either holy stone or a holy beast's power. It required a lot of energy, but it was not a problem for Xianxia. In the hall inside the sacred ship, Long Shui smiled at Xianxia and said, This ship is good. It's just a little small. Seeing Long Shui's expression, Xianxia knew that Long Shui really wanted it. It doesn't matter. If it's just me alone, then it's enough. Even if there's a few more people, it's still very spacious. Xianxia said, Don't be envious that I have this boat. You should be envious of Xianxia for his powerful spatial energy. This boat of mine is meant for long distances. He has spatial energy. There is no need for it. Long Shui said. Who said it? With his ability to travel through space, he is not suitable for going to unfamiliar places. If it's only convenient to use these two familiar places, then like now, he cannot just randomly enter Divine Fire Forest. So what? It's still better than mine. Jiang Sheng laughed. This ship is too small and does not suit you. If you want, you can just craft a new ship from scratch. Warm Moon's talent is not bad, and Lu Menger is very powerful too. As long as I give them some pointers and give them some blueprints, it won't be difficult for them to create one. Long Shui muttered. I want it already. Chan Xiang asked. Where are we going to get this space black iron? Jiang Sheng immediately became serious. The most precious thing about this ship is the body of the ship that was forged by the space black iron. Although there are other materials added inside, this space black iron will take up 7 levels. If these space black iron were not so rare, I would have given each of you one long time ago. This thing is really hard to get. I almost went bankrupt in the past and got a tiny bit, barely enough to refine this ship. Long Shui asked, then where will there be space black iron? Back then, she also knew that Jiang Sheng was everywhere to exchange for materials, and she was even looking for her. But she did not have that ability, so she wanted to ask Jiang Sheng if it was impossible now, since this boat was extremely precious to him. I don't know either, but this kind of thing is just like other rare heavenly treasures. It can be purchased at any place, and it'll have to depend on luck. If you have many holy stone, you can also purchase it from various heaven regions or 9 heaven world. Jiang Sheng took out a small piece of black stone. This is the space black iron. There's around half a kilogram of it. Dongfang Xinyu sighed. If we want to refine a boat, it definitely needs a lot of resources. This space black iron is so rare. Even if we used a lot of holy stone to buy it, it would be difficult to buy it. She had already planned to buy some holy golden stones. Even if Chun Xiang used up all the holy stone, he wouldn't be able to buy much, let alone these space black iron. Chun Xiang thought for a moment, then said, this space black iron should not be able to grow in such a stable space. Could it be growing in a tyrannical space? Long Shui's eyes lit up as he smiled. It's very possible that although the tyrannical space is extremely chaotic, it's still the place where the power of space is nurtured. Only in that place can this genius and treasure related to the power of space be nurtured. Qi Shi said in surprise, Chan Xiang, you can enter the tyrannical space, but you won't get lost inside. After Jiang Sheng heard it, he wanted to be beaten to a pulp. Is it really okay? Quickly go in and take a look. There are at most these kinds of space black iron. I originally planned to go in and find them, but I was worried that I would get lost inside, so I didn't go in. Long Shui laughed. This kid is extremely familiar with the laws of space. Of course, this isn't a problem. He often hides in tyrannical spaces. Then quickly go and take a look. If there are enough space black iron, you might be able to get rid of the Hell Devil Emperor's tracing mantra. Jiang Sheng urged. He really wanted to get more of these strange refining materials. Hearing that it could let him get rid of the Hell Devil Emperor, Chun Xiang became even more motivated. Although the tracing mantra would not cause him any fatal damage, it still made him extremely troubled. Long Shui and Dongfang Xinyu were really looking forward to see if Chun Xiang could find those space black iron in the tyrannical space. Chun Xiang left the boat and went outside. Looking at the place the boat stopped at, he memorized the location, then used his spatial energy to open a path to enter the tyrannical space. Especially for those attacks formed by the powers of space, if one was not careful and was hit by the space shock waves, then every part of his body would be scattered to other places but not kill anyone. Because Chun Xiang possessed the spatial rule spiritual bead, he had already mastered the spatial laws, so he wouldn't be affected much if anyone else were to enter this place. Even if they didn't go crazy from the oppressive spatial energy, they would still go crazy from the chaos in this place. Sometimes, if one walked ahead for a long time, they would still be at the same place. But if one walked to the right, they would be able to move their position a little, and the direction would be extremely chaotic, changing every second of the time. Even Jiang Sheng did not dare to casually enter this kind of place. If you stay here too long, is there really no problem? Long Shui asked. She had only used the Heaven Tour method to check, and the spirits she had released all disappeared without a trace. In the past, Xianxia had only been here for a short period of time, but now that he had come here to search for something, she couldn't help but be worried. It's fine. Xianxia looked around at the pitch-black place, channeled his spirit energy, allowed himself to float in the air, and began to search for space-black ironess. It was very dark inside. There was not even a little bit of red light, and Xianxia did not find any other solid object inside. It was as if there was nothing in this tyrannical space. It feels so scary, Long Shui muttered. If you can't find it, then forget it. I'm worried that you won't be able to return after staying here for a long time. It's fine. I have a subtle connection with the stable dimension outside. I can use that feeling to open a way back anytime. Xianxia increased his speed. Relying on the spatial laws that he mastered, he was able to move forward normally and search for this pitch-black tyrannical space. It seemed as if he didn't receive any effects. In fact, there would often be chaotic spatial transformations here. It was just that because he grasped the space laws, he wasn't affected much. Something is coming. Xianxia suddenly had a very strange feeling. He then sensed that there were a lot of solid beings quickly rushing towards him. It's space wind explosion. Xianxia was shocked. He anxiously prepared himself to defend. Very quickly, he felt many things hitting the spatial barrier that he had released. What's going on? Long Shui asked. The storm that suddenly appeared blew over many things and they all hit me. Xianxia said. It seems that most of them are stones. Long Shui anxiously shouted. Hurry and bring those stones inside. Maybe they are space-black ironess. Xianxia released his powerful divine power and found a relatively large stone, then used his strength to place it into the serene jade ring. Dongfang Xinyue and Long Shui immediately became busy with work, while Pearl and Kong Bailing helped out from the side. The rock Xianxia got into the ring on was just too big, like a small mountain. Very quickly, Dongfang Xinyue shouted in surprise. There are space-black iron inside. It's just some powder, and it needs to be refined. There's a lot of these outside. Really, there are many of these stones. They are just like trash being blown all over the place by the space wind. Xianxia was overjoyed, and then he chose a few huge stones to put into the ring. Fortunately, the ring could hold many things inside, and he could place so many stones inside. Perhaps 100,000 kilograms of these stones can only produce 1 kilogram of space-black iron. That's why you have to get more of these stones. Dongfang Xinyue said. I can only refine this tiny bit. Xianxia was a little surprised, then took out many storage magic treasures, and began to sweep through the huge stones inside the space wind burst. Long Shui said, these stones should have all fallen from the stable dimensional space and deposited here for many years, before gradually containing the energy of space. And after continuously colliding with each other and refining naturally, they eventually formed a small piece of space-black iron, which is extremely likely to fall from some spatial crack into the stable dimensional space. That's why space-black iron are so rare. MN, it's already quite impressive for old Jiang to be able to gather so many. To be able to drop a naturally refined space-black iron from there is indeed not an easy feat, Xianxia said. It was extremely difficult to refine a large-scale storage magic treasure that could hold humans, but there were a lot of them that could be used to access stones. This was how Xianxia brought 1 billion caddies of holy stone with him, so it was not difficult for him to take away a lot of rocks from here. In order to quickly obtain these stones, Xianxia even wanted the small ones, as he crazily swept them. The duration of the space windstorm wasn't very long, it was only about 4 hours, but he had already gotten his hands on a lot of stones. According to Dongfang Xinyue's estimations, it should be enough to make a huge boat. This space wind should exist often. If it's not enough, just one more time and it'll be fine. Long Shui laughed. I do have space wind berserk, but I have to go to the right place. I was lucky enough to meet it. If I was unlucky, I would not even be able to find it for 2 or 3 years. Xianxia left the tyrannical space and returned near Jiang Shang's boat. Seeing that Xianxia returned so quickly, Jiang Shang was a little disappointed. He thought that it would only be possible if he returned a little later. Inside the boat, Xianxia was all smiles. He anxiously asked, You found those space black iron? Long Shui came out of the serene green dragon ring and threw Jiangsheng a stone the size of a watermelon. Maybe this is it. Once Jiangsheng held it in hand. He anxiously used his divine power to scan it once, and immediately nodded his head. There are space black iron inside, but they are very small in quantity and need to be refined, but it's enough, whether there are a lot of these stones inside or not. Xianxia nodded his head. There are indeed quite a few, but you can find them by chance, but you can't ask for them. He told the matter of the space wind rampage to Jiangsheng and Qishir. Old Jiang, do you want to buy some space black iron? Long Shui laughed. I can let this little scoundrel give you a discount. Jiangsheng let out a long sigh. If I had met Xianxiang earlier, I wouldn't have had to work so hard back then. Qishir laughed. Xianxiang, if you want to avoid the Hell Devil Emperor's tracing mantra, you can enter that tyrannical space. Even if he knows you're inside, those people will not be able to chase after you. Although I'm not affected inside, I have to stay in a very alert state. If I stay inside for too long, I won't be used to it either, so I can only temporarily hide and not stay for too long. Xianxiang shook his head. He was going to let him stay inside for 2 or 3 years, and be constantly on guard against all sorts of sudden situations. I better hurry up and refine something so that I can avoid the tracing mantra. Xianxiang said. Wait until we reach the divine fire forest. The vermilion bird can provide me with a good environment. I'll help you refine it, but you have to give me some space black iron as compensation. Jiangsheng laughed. Using the flames in the divine fire forest to refine it might be faster.